Namaskaram, Nyan Eliza. Learn Malayalam with Elikuttilekku Swagatham. You've reached the resource for helping you learn beginner Malayalam. And this is the first in our series of beginner Malayalam lessons. Now, before we get started, remember that you can find all my lessons on YouTube at Learn Malayalam with Elikutti, and you can join these lessons live on my Discord server. So be sure to check it out. I'll put the links in the description below. So this being our first lesson today in this series of lessons on YouTube, you will learn basic introductions, saying hello, and understanding a bit more about the subject pronouns of Malayalam, how to use Arna, and we'll even do some pronunciation exercises. So, are you ready? Let's get started. So first, let's look at a couple of conversations. And by looking at the pictures in the conversations and listening to what's happening, maybe you can kind of guess the situation. So here we have our first conversation. Here, if you look, you can see that there is a picture. Where are we? It's a coffee shop, right? So here's the conversation. Watch and listen. ഒരു കാപ്പി താരമോ? പേരെന്താണ്? ഇലൈസ. Lisa? അല്ല, Eliza. അപ്പോ ശരി. All right. So from this conversation, we can tell that names are being spoken, some things are being given. All right, let's look at the next conversation. നിങ്ങൾ അമാൻഡ ആണോ? അല്ല, ഞാൻ ഇലൈസ ആണ്. അയ്യോ, sorry. ഇലൈസ, നിങ്ങളുടെ കാപ്പി. നന്ദി. Okay, so we got again a little bit of name confusion, but Eliza got her coffee, so all is good. Now we're going to introduce someone else into the story. Namaskaram, ningal Eliza ആണോ? അതെ. നിങ്ങൾ അർജുൻ ആണോ? അതെ. കണ്ടതിൽ സന്തോഷം. എനിക്കും. ഒരു മിനിറ്റ്. All right, so we have two people and they're meeting for the first time. And in this exchange, there's a phrase that I really like. Kandatil sandosham. So I like this phrase because in English we say nice to meet you. But here, kandatil is in seeing, sandosham, happiness. So it's like when you see someone, they give you happiness. I think it's a really lovely way to say nice to meet you. Now, here, Arjun is now going to go to the barista table. Let's see what happens. ഒരു ചായ താരമോ? ശരി. പേരെന്താണ്? അർജുൻ. ശരി. അരുൺ. ഒരു ചായ. അല്ല, ഞാൻ അർജുനാണ്. അരുൺ അല്ല. Okay, so again we have this barista mixing upness, but have you noticed a pattern? What words do you see at the end of the sentences? You see the words ano, Arne, alla. Okay, this is all important to us. We'll talk about it more later. So if you want to listen to the conversations again, feel free to go back and re-listen and hear how the words are pronounced and hear it in the context. When you're ready, we're going to move on to the next section. So we're going to talk about pronouns today. We're only going to be covering I and you today. In future lessons, we will also include he, she, we, they, so on and so forth. But today we're going to focus on just I and you. Now for I, it's pretty straightforward. Nyan. It's always nyan. In languages like Japanese or Chinese, you might use different words for yourself. In Vietnamese, you might use different words for yourself. But similar to English, in Malayalam, it's just nyan. Nyan. Now for you, I have here two more common words. There's ni and ningal. Ni and ningal. So you have to remember that there are different levels of politeness in Malayalam. A lot of Eastern languages are like this. So ni is more familiar, and it's generally used for people your age or younger. Ningal is for people older than you or people who have a higher position. Now, not on this slide, there are other words like tangal or ang, but these are not used very often and they're considered super polite and very distant. But likely, if you're speaking to someone that is older than you or has respect, you probably won't be using ningal as much as you would their actual name or their position or their relationship to you. Like you would never say ningal to your mother. You would say amma. It would be very strange for you to refer to any family member as ningal because that means it's very distant. So keep in mind, ningal is more respectful, but in general, you can always rely on using the person's name or their position if they're your teacher, if they're your boss. All right, let's look more. Let's talk about Arna. Arna is the verb that can mean to be. So in English, it would be am, is, or are, but in Malayalam, for all cases, it's Arna. Arna. So when I say Nyan Eliza Arna, I am Eliza. Nyan Lisa alla. Alla means am not. This is the negative form. Then you also have the question form. Ningal arunano. Arno. Oftentimes in Malayalam, when a verb ends with o, it's a question. We'll talk about this more in the future when we talk more about verbs, but just know for now, positive, arne. Negative, alla. Question, arno. Got it? Look at the examples here again. Nyan Eliza arne. Nyan Lisa alla. Ningal arunano. Ade Arjunarne. Ningalude pere endarne. Notice in this last one, we have endarne, which is the question word ende combined with the verb arne. Don't worry too much about the meaning right now. Just know that we use arne here, and it's a question form because ende is already a question, so we don't have to add o. We'll practice more with this in the future. So, an important thing to know about Malayalam is that the word order is different from English and many other Western languages. In English, we would say, I am Eliza, so it's subject, verb, object. But in Malayalam, the verb goes at the end of the sentence. Nyan Eliza arne. All right? And when it comes to questions, it still stays in the same order. In English, we tend to flip. For example, you are Arjun in English would turn into are you Arjun? But in Malayalam, the word order stays the same. Ningal Arjunano. Ningal Arjunarne. Notice it is in the same order. You don't have to change. So now let's practice. Take some time now to translate the following sentences into Malayalam. You can pause the video and take it down on a sheet of paper or fill it in on a sheet, whatever works for you. And then when you're ready, you can continue playing and we'll go over the answers. Let's get started. All right, here is an example of the answers that you may have gotten. Namaskaram. Ningal Harisharno. Ade Harisharne. Ningal Mariano. Alla. Nyan Mariamarne. Sorry. Kandatil Sandosha. Enikyum. If you need help remembering, go back to the conversations at the beginning of this video and it'll help you with remembering the vocabulary that was there. Now we're going to take these sentences and make them negative. Again, pause, do the work, and then come back here and we'll go over our answers together. All right, so remember to make it negative, we change arne to alla. And to make it into a question, we change it to arno. So you can check against your answers here. Let's move on. I'd like to talk to you a bit today about the 3 N sounds in Malayalam that are common. And in English, when we write N, it is just N, na, na. But Malayalam has 3 specific N sounds, and they each have a different mechanism in the mouth. So let's look at the first one. The first one is na, na. It's similar to an English N. We hear it in namaskaram, ni, ningal, like this. So just a regular N. If you look at the diagram, you can see the tongue is behind the teeth. Na, 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 ni, ningal, namaskaram. Got it? Now let's look at the na, na. This is a retroflex letter. Malayalam is full of retroflex letters, which means you need to get used to moving your tongue toward the back of your mouth. So here we have na, na, na. You touch the roof toward the back of your mouth and you bring your tongue forward. Na, na, na. So here we have this in Arna, Arna. Nyan Eliza Arna. We do not say Nyan Eliza Arna. It's not correct. Practice that na, na, na. All right, let's move on. The last one we have is nya, nya, nya. So we use this for nyan, nyan, nyan. Very good. So na and na are quite similar for English speakers and other languages. Nya is quite easy to pick out. So let's look at this next exercise. So here we have 5 different pairs of words, A and B. You're going to listen carefully and you're going to choose which word I am saying. Now, you might be thinking, Eliza, I don't know how to read Malayalam. It's fine. All you need to know is, are you hearing na or are you hearing na? So circle the one you hear. Are you ready? The first one is parni, parni. The second one is arne, arne. The third one is vernam, vernam. The fourth one is manam, manam. And the last one is man, man. If you want to listen again, go back and listen again. Otherwise, we'll go over the answers now. How did you do? If you want to hear the difference, listen carefully and I'll read each one out to you. So for number 1, it's pani, parni, pani, parni. Number 2, Anna, Arne, Anna, Arne. Number 3, Vernam, Vanam, Vernam, Vanam. Next, Manam, Marnam, Manam, Marnam. And the last one, Marnet, Manet, Marnet, Manet. Are you starting to hear the difference? If you're not sure, you can always go back and listen again. It's okay. It takes time for your ear to learn the differences in these sounds if you've not used them in your own languages. So keep on trying. Now, look at this conversation practice here. We have the Manglish words on the bottom, and we have the English conversation at the top. Let's practice having this conversation together. In this part, I'll be green and you be white. If you want to pause and make notes, do it now. All right, are you ready? Namaskaram. Ningalude pere endarne. Nyani Liza. Kandattu sandosham. Great. Now let's switch roles. You'll be the green and I'll be the white. Again, if you need to make notes, you can pause now. Ready? Nyani Liza, Ningalude pere endarne. Edikyam. Great. So how do you feel about that? You just finished your first lesson in Malayalam and you can introduce yourself and ask for someone else's name. Great. Fantastic. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, you can always go back and revise and do the activities and listen again and again. Also, you can check out the other videos on my channel. I have one on pronunciation for na and na already there. And I plan on adding some more vocabulary boosters to help you with your greetings and saying goodbye. Also here I have some information. I'll put the links in the description so you can find more resources related to this topic. If you have any corrections, suggestions, or comments, do put them below. I'm happy to hear your feedback. Also, don't forget, you can join live lessons for free on Mondays at 7 p.m. IST at my Discord server, and I'd really love to see you in class. Until next time, apoelam parnetapole. Bye-bye.